Welcome to Two Doctors Homestead. My name is Daniel. Today we're going to look at storing food, preserving food using Mylar bags. All right, I'm really excited to get a chance to make the video. I see questions every day about people interested in storing food in Mylar bags and want to know the process and some of the advantages and disadvantages. So we're going to go ahead and walk through all of that today. Mylar bags come in a lot of different shapes and sizes. Normally I look at the 1 gallon size Mylar bags, and then the 5 gallon size Mylar bags. And these are actually folded in half, so the bag is twice this size. A 1 gallon Mylar bag will store about 5 pounds of dry goods, obviously depending on the dry good, but stuff like rice and beans. Looking at about 5 pounds of dry goods. 5 gallon Mylar bag will store about 25 pounds of dry goods. So this is a 1 gallon Mylar bag with 5 pounds of rice. You can see we sealed it with an oxygen absorber. This is a 5 gallon Mylar bag with 25 pounds of flour. Now, in one of the last videos we dry packed dry goods in mason jars. This is a ball mason jar. So this is a 1 quart mason jar and holds about a pound. In this case, it's a pound of cream of wheat. Once again, compared to a 1 gallon Mylar bag, this holds 5 pounds. So you get a lot more food storage with the Mylar bags. At least right now, they're less expensive. I know they're getting to be a lot harder to find, and that may drive the prices up. But you can get the Mylar bags a lot cheaper than the mason jars. And there's advantages and disadvantages to both the Mylar bags and the mason jars. One of the advantages of the Mylar bags, beyond potentially being cheaper and a little bit tighter because you don't have the glass, is the bag is not clear, right? The light can't get through it, so it's a metallic foil, so that protects your food from any kind of degradation due to sunlight. One of the advantages that your canning jar would have over the Mylar bag is rodents, right? No mice are going to eat through the glass jar, you'd hope, or rats. It's possible, right? It's possible they could eat through the Mylar bag. This should block out any kind of scent or anything like that, and I've never had a mouse or rat eat through a bag that I've got stored, but it is possible that they could, right? So the Mylar is not as strong as glass. But when you compare it to a freezer bag, a vacuum sealed freezer bag, I have these bags lose pressure all the time, right? This is some dehydrated fish that we made for the dogs. They just don't hold up, right? Where I've never had a Mylar bag lose pressure. It's a much thicker, stronger material. All right, one of the keys to making the Mylar bags work are the oxygen absorbers. So these are 500 cc oxygen absorbers. I like to do a 500 cc per gallon. So one of these for a 1 gallon bag, 5 of these for a 5 gallon bag. I think they say you can get away with 300 cc, but a little extra oxygen absorption, just won't really hurt, right? Gives a little more protection. One of the advantages of using the oxygen absorbers, as long as it's sized properly, you've removed all the oxygen from the bag. So you really don't have to worry about bugs, even if there were eggs in, say, the beans or the rice or whatever you packaged in here. Bugs still need oxygen to survive, right? So removing the oxygen will kill any bugs. I see people saying they freeze their dry goods before they package them. Once again, you look at the research on the oxygen absorbers, you really don't need to do that. In fact, I'd recommend against it. I'd be worried about adding moisture when you freeze something. Right, there's potential for the ice to form, and you could be adding moisture. All right, one thing to keep in mind when you are using oxygen absorbers or a vacuum sealer, you're creating a low or no oxygen environment. I went over this in the last 2 videos, the beginning guide to food preservation. When you create a low oxygen or no oxygen environment, you are increasing the risk of botulism. So there are other factors to consider with botulism, things like the temperature you're storing at, which this is probably room temperature. The salt content, the sugar content, the pH, and then moisture content. right? So just be aware there are risks with oxygen absorbers. If you want to be safe, I would say just plan on cooking anything you take out of it, right? That eliminates 100% of the risk. So we use the Impulse bag sealer. Works great for sealing the Mylar bags. Super convenient. We'll show it when we're getting ready to seal the bags. If you don't have one, if you don't want to buy one, can't afford one, I've seen a lot of other ways to seal the bags, whether you use like a hair iron or a regular iron or something like that. People get pretty creative. So as long as you know you can seal the bag, you don't necessarily have to get a bag sealer. Keep in mind, and we'll look at this when we start sealing the bags, is once you take the oxygen absorbers out of the package, once the package is open and they're exposed to air, they'll start absorbing oxygen. And you can see on this, there's a little red indicator there. When that turns black, they're done, right? They're just not good anymore. So you want to be quick, right? This is a bag of 10. When we open it up, we're going to do 10 Mylar bags, 10 1-gallon Mylar bags at the same time. Drop it in, seal them. You want to make that as quickly as possible. So if your bag sealing process is complicated, you might be losing some of the value of the oxygen absorber. They might not be able to absorb all the way. So there's kind of a rush moment there. You've got to have everything ready to go, your bag sealer warmed up, and then drop in the oxygen absorbers, close it all up. So there's a timer there that's ticking down. So once you have all your bags filled up, right, just a question of how you want to store them. So the 5-gallon bags fit nicely in a 5-gallon bucket. I've seen people say you can stack these in a 5-gallon bucket. The 5-gallon bucket gives you greater protection against things like rodents that might be able to eat through this bag, but might not be able to eat through a 5-gallon bucket. Really depends on your environment. If you're not worried about rodents, you could just put it on the shelf, right? You don't want to get any holes in it, but it's a pretty heavy duty bag. At this point, it's protected from all your environmentals like light or moisture or any of that kind of stuff. So really just have to figure out how you want to store them. You can just stack them on a shelf if you want. One of the questions you might have is why? Why would I want to store food in a Mylar bag? Comes great from the store. So we got a big old bag of beans here. I actually like beans. I eat a lot of beans. There's a cheaper when you buy in bulk. So you buy the bigger bag and you put this on your shelf, I guess, or you put it in a plastic container. It's going to have a shorter shelf life in your house, right? This bag won't last as long as this bag. They say this bag will probably last the rest of your life. Like beans stored in Mylar, no oxygen, no light. They'll stay nutritious for 25, 30, 40 years, maybe longer. Same thing on other dry goods. So removing the oxygen, storing it in a Mylar bag is going to just last as long as you need or as you want before you consume, say, the 20 pounds of beans. So you save money buying in bulk, and then you don't have to worry about freshness or how long it's going to stay good for. This will last pretty much forever, right? Certainly a long time. All right, so now we're going to set up and fill up a couple bags. All right, so this is the bag sealer. It's out of the box now. We have it set a little bit between 5 and 6. You just want to make sure it's hot enough to seal the bag. What we do is we lay the bag in, you push it down, and then it'll click, light goes on, and then the bag's sealed. All right, so we have our bags set up. They're all filled up with our dry goods. The oatmeal, by the way, only got about 2.5 pounds. So now we're going to hit crunch time. We open up the oxygen absorbers, we drop one in each bag, and then we have to seal it. So we're getting set up here to start sealing the bags. So we did 10 bags. Since this is a 10-pack of oxygen absorbers, we'll put one in each bag. So rip it open, drop it in, and then we seal them up. All right, guys, we're opening the oxygen absorbers. We'll start filling up the bags here. See the little indicator change color there, which means the oxygen absorbers are done. Fortunately, we have all the bags filled up and sealed. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Please like and subscribe if you did, and let us know if there's anything you'd like to see in future videos.